The HR Pod Squad Talks Unleash next on RecTech.
Welcome to RecTech, the podcast where recruiting and technology intersect. Each month, you'll hear from vendors shaping the recruiting world, along with recruiters who'll tell you how they use technology to hire talent. Now, here's your host, the mad scientist of online recruiting, Chris Russell.
Okay, we're on.
All right, time to do my last interview at Unleash America here in 2023 at Las Vegas. This time, we'll do the HR Pod Squad. I got my pod friends here. We've got Serge and Shelley from the Recruitment Flex, and my friend Julie Calli from recruitmentmarketing.com is here as well. You've heard her on the Chad and Cheese channel there. But we're going to kind of recap the event today and just get their thoughts on this. I believe this is the first time for each of these guys, Serge, Shelley, and Julie at Unleash. So
that's right.
First impressions on Unleash. We'll start with Julie here.
Yeah, this is my first Unleash. I wish there were 3 of me yesterday. I had so many things that I wanted to do, and I couldn't be in all places at once. I wanted to see all the amazing new startups. There's over 100 of them here. I wanted to hear all the great ideas and see all the innovation. And then I wanted to go around and just see all the vendors and see their booths and, get a chance to talk to them, because I haven't been in person to engage with that many in one place at one time. So there were so many people to say hello to, old friends, and then all of the thought leaders that came out and put together all those presentations. I had a list I wanted to attend, and I think I only got to 4, which was way under what I wanted. But I couldn't be in all places. So what I will definitely say, my first Unleash, my first experience, I will be back. This was fantastic, and I think there's something here for everyone. I don't really view the audience here as like there's vendors and there's practitioners. There are analysts here. There are investors. There are people looking for tuck-ins in their business. And there's just so much business going on here other than just, buying and selling of TA tech. Incredible relationship building. So I'm having a great experience. And I'd say one of the best things I've gotten out of this experience is making new friends. I got to meet Serge and Shelley last night, and yes, it's been a great experience.
That's been the highlight of my show, is meeting Julie Calli, the Julie Calli.
The Julie Calli.
Hey, so looking at the show itself, and the scale of it is massive. And I've never been to Unleash America, but obviously being to HR Tech, which is very similar. But I agree with you, Julie. There's a lot more of interactions between all the different groups, as I don't think I talked to any practitioner when the last time was HR Tech, and here you saw them, they were busy. I think we just recorded our weekly episode, and when we had Jason Putnam, and what he did say is like they were being sold heavily. There is a little bit of panic, so maybe, I don't know, I didn't see it personally, but there
From
was
Unleash?
From Unleash, vendors
Yeah.
to practitioners that were selling hard. But I tell you, I love the show, but I think you nailed it, Julie. It's the connections that we're going to have forever. Like, I would never have met Julie. I'd probably hound her on LinkedIn. She'd be like, who is this dude hounding me?
Creep.
And creep, exactly. But now, like, we're besties. We had In-N-Out together, and the minute that you share In-N-Out and you toast, you're friends forever. But again, it's just the connections. If you are a practitioner, a vendor, or whatever the case, people that you meet here generally stay in the industry forever, right? So you might not deal with them in the particular company you're in. 5 years, you might, and that relationship you forge is going to be critical in that.
I really enjoyed the startups. This is my first Unleash, you're right. And it's my only other comparison, of course, is HR Tech. And then, of course, RecFest in London, which I'm excited is coming to America as well. I really liked how they had the stages inside the expo hall.
Yes.
And also that the breakout room, or the other where the other speakers were, wasn't going to be like a 20-minute hike, because that's always the thing, is trying to get to your next session. I was impressed by how many practitioners are here. It's obvious, because as you're walking through on the badges, of course, everybody's self-identified. And I really like how many startups are here. Surprised I didn't see some of the bigger vendors. Like, is Oracle here?
I don't think so, no.
Workday, Oracle, none of the big
SAP
HRIS.
is here.
Yeah, SAP.
SAP is here. LinkedIn's not here. You're right. Like it's like obvious by their absence.
It's kind of like a subset of HR Tech almost, the HR Tech conference, which is a huge conference with 500 vendors. I think of Unleash as kind of a mini version of that almost. It's smaller, more intimate. I think they do a good job with the even the media room here. It's like right outside the venue, easy to get to. And for me, it is about the networking and the connections. I mean, I met a ton of new people this week, and like you guys are my coworkers. I work by myself at home in Connecticut there behind the RecTech mic. But this is where I really enjoy and get to actually see you guys face to face, and it gives me a lot of energy coming to this event, and it keeps me going.
I agree. I think that's the biggest thing. It's tough because we all live in our own world, and we connect with each other, but it's not the same connection. There's a certain thing about being in person that I never realized that I missed during the pandemic, because Shelley knows that I spend like 12 hours in my basement office a day, and I kind of like it, to be honest. But coming out, meeting people, hearing news stories, it's really special in that case.
Yeah. What did you guys see this week? I mean, anything top of mind that stands out to you from a vendor standpoint? A quick anecdote?
One thing I thought was really interesting was Unleash did a vendor day, right? Everybody's coming in and setting up their booth. And I believe it's their first one that they've ever done. I was very curious about it, so I made sure I was here.
What was it like?
10 a.m. Yeah, so about 10 a.m. is when it kicked off. There was like nobody in the room, and I was like, "Oh, this doesn't look like it's going to go very well." But the room started to fill up throughout the day, and I got to say, like, the stage, people brought great content. I was wondering, like, what kind of content are they going to bring that's going to bring value to the vendor audience? And they brought up CHROs and they brought up practitioners. These were live roundtables of feedback talking about what you could do to better introduce your product to me to help solve my problems. Like, that's a great piece of feedback that the vendors are always looking for, and it was being delivered on a silver platter right there on the stage. So I do think they brought great value. Sarah White always does a great job. She brought great information. But then the audience, was the audience listening to the feedback? That's what I kept trying to get a gauge of. And even if it was, and I did feel like a lot of what I heard on the stage, I already know. But it was validating to hear it again, to like, yes, we were saying this 5 years ago, but we're still saying it today. It's still here. The problem hasn't been solved. And I really thought that was a unique experience. It was value delivered to the vendor. Like you said, there's a lot of hard selling going on here, Serge, and that's because the ratio is definitely probably, I think, 3 vendors for every practitioner that's here. So that is hard.
Isn't that pretty good, though? Because like HR Tech has got to be like 20-1, right?
Oh, well, that's true, right? Well, but you want to have options as a practitioner, but you don't want to be oversold. Then you can't even explore and choose your own adventure. So I thought that was a great way to take the audience that is here, that are the vendors, and bring value to that, and really try to bridge that gap between the problem and the solutions, trying to connect with each other.
Chris, what was your favorite event that we went to? That you went to?
Favorite event? Well, I come for the party, Serge. You know that. So.
That's what I know. I know. That's why I'm asking you.
I'll say the Chat and Cheese Tatio party last night was probably the best one. Everybody was there, and it's got a really good chance to catch up with everyone I know in the space, and that was a good event. I missed the Talent Toke. Did you guys go to that?
Yeah.
I did.
So what was it like?
It was fun.
It was
really
tons
fun.
of
Did
fun.
you get high, Serge?
I will not disclose it, but I had tons of fun. Julie, did you have fun?
Oh, it was a good time. It really was just open out in front of the Bellagio fountains, which 1,000 other people are also standing out in front of the Bellagio, also partaking in legal activities
like,
here.
As a Canadian,
so I don't think you can walk past the Bellagio without a contact high now, because people are openly smoking in the streets. But it was a great opportunity to let's not sit down at a bar in a conference center. We were out in the street just having fun. Like Shelley bought me a sparkly balloon, and we
For
were
$100. My God.
Thank you for that balloon. And we were dancing to Viva Las Vegas, and we were just having a good time being in Las Vegas, having fun out in the street together. And I thought that was a great experience. Had I not gone, I would not have met you guys. We skipped off to In-N-Out Burger after, and that was fantastic. I really needed a big iced tea after after that.
Forgot to mention the high roller too.
I was just going to say the high roller was pretty cool.
Yeah, Serge
pretty
Shelley
cool.
were there.
To be in a bubble with 30 great
shout out
people.
Shout out to Hiring Branch who hosted that.
Yeah, for sure.
Us. Another Canadian company that we didn't know about.
Yeah.
But
Actually, now that you say that was my favorite event. Was the high roller. That was a lot of fun. It's unique, right?
Yeah, very unique.
You see a viewpoint of Las Vegas, and unless you're afraid of heights. And I was talking to Sarah White after. She's like,
you know what? I didn't look around that much. I was chatting with all you guys.
Yeah,
I didn't get a chance to
exactly.
look at the sites.
Yeah.
I'll have to do it again by myself.
yeah, I have to bring the family next time, right?
Not exactly. Do you know, I did want to ask, was there anything that you were hoping was going to be here? And the reason I bring that up is I was talking to one of the startup vendors, and every time somebody said ChatGPT, you had to take a shot. So, but interestingly enough, I didn't hear it anywhere else. Like talking to vendors, I was hoping to come away with some really juicy insights about what vendors are doing with ChatGPT, and I only saw it in one vendor. One vendor. They actually have incorporated it into their products. It's a company called Rectex, another Canadian company. But what they've done is when you're putting an outbound text message to a candidate, you can hit the little magic wand and it'll rewrite it in the tone that you want it to.
Yep.
And also to be gender neutral. Because sometimes you don't know if you're outbound messaging job seekers, you don't know, right? If they don't have their pronouns. So super cool, super easy, and it takes that bland, I saw your resume on LinkedIn, and just put a little personality to it. So, but that was the only one I saw.
Yeah,
Did you see anything?
Writing ChatGPT, I think that's going to become table stakes for all these vendors here. I think that being able to log into your dashboard, whatever HR tech it is, and have something kind of pre-written for you by the AI is going to be table stakes in the next year. Everyone's going to have that because that's the easiest thing you can do right now to leverage that technology. That's the easy. You basically plug it in overnight almost, and get some kind of regenerative AI creating messages for you, analyzing the text of a candidate or whatever. So you're going to see a lot more of that this year, and I expect to hear more about it.
Did you see any here though? Like
the
vendors that you talked to?
has it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're seeing much more of it, and the announcements came in the last month or so. Seek Out did it. Phenom's doing it. Beamery, some of the other vendors have come out with an announcement around it.
I mean, the opening speakers for the conference were talking about,
I've heard it a lot.
AI. I'd say the most spoken words at this conference have been generative AI, compliance, and data security. Like, those are the things that I feel have
Data
been
security.
strung in every sentence. Yes, so data security. It's becoming a bigger problem, especially as we start talking about AI,
Well, exactly.
data privacy. These are big parts that, as I've been joining some of the AI sessions in the conversation, like HR and AI, there's a huge data privacy concern. So it's been interesting to hear some of those perspectives. Some of the companies sharing their stories of, here's where I got in trouble with AI. I went and was bold and innovative in using it in our company, and then found out from HR that I can't use it in that way because it violates privacy.
Like what?
So there were some conversations about how a company had tried to find high-performance teams and deployed AI across all their email communications and all of their Slack communications to determine if they could find out what creates high-performance teams. Turns out the answer to that is inclusivity and very diverse teams that have, I'm lacking the word right now, that security to be able to challenge even your leader. And they identified that these behaviors within a team create the most high performance teams. Now that's great that AI came and found and brought back that information, but it was also starting to creep into some of the privacy stuff and into the employee. And HR was flagging some of that there wasn't permission based to access certain kinds of content, and being innovative went first and came out with some great results. But yes, that's where we have to be careful with this compliance. That's why these are the three words that are strung together, because they are the triangle problem. The data security, the privacy, and compliance all live in the same family, and we're trying to introduce AI to all that. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to watch this unfold.
Can I give advice to any vendors that's listening when it comes to ChatGPT or incorporating it into your product? Can you not do a press release? Like you said, Chris, it's table stakes. We do not need to see 400 press release that we've incorporated a part of ChatGPT in our tool, because we all know that's coming.
Yep.
It annoys the shit out of me, to be honest. Even when I'm seeing it right now, and I know you mentioned the vendors, I'm like, really?
Yeah.
Really? Is it like and they all say they're the first. I'm like, there's at least 40 right now.
Yep.
So how can you be the first? But anyways, that's just me.
No, I agree. I think there's a lot of Me Too out there on the ChatGPT stuff, and it's HR tech. They're always following each other when it comes to marketing. They all kind of do follow each other, follow the leader there, and stuff like that. But yeah, you're right, Serge. It's fun. Well, let's see here. So I think. What are your takeaways for HR tech this year? We've had some layoffs in the space. I think, Serge, you heard today about some news. You want to tell that? Or?
So Greenhouse just laid off 12%. And again, this is not confirmed, but 12% of its workforce. I have no idea how big the workforce. I'm going to make an assumption it's probably 200.
Probably a couple hundred, yeah.
Yeah,
like
generally, like looking at revenue, like where they are in the marketplace, they're probably around 200 to 300. So 12% is potentially, 30 people?
It's not a bloodbath, no.
No, it's not a bloodbath. But it goes really with the trend that we're seeing across the board, that a lot of these organizations overhired. And this was clear at HR Tech, because everyone at HR Tech in September we're talking about, every rep at the vendor booth was like 2 months in their job, 4 months in their job.
Yeah, I met the CEO new CEO of Smart Recruiters 3 weeks into the job right now. I remember last year I talked to their CMO, who was also new. Now he's not there anymore, so there's a ton of turnover going on as well in our industry as well, I think.
Well, I think the Smart Recruiters and Greenhouse, which I'm big fans, I think they are leading ATS, are getting caught in between. They're getting caught between the big players, the Workdays and the UKG, and then the really small players. Yeah,
I think we're at a point now where the rich are getting richer, and the smaller players are having a little bit more trouble of gaining traction and things like that.
Can we, and maybe you can confirm, someone can confirm, so I heard Jobcase did some layoffs. Have you heard that, Chris?
I was speaking with Jobcase last night. They did not mention it, but that would be interesting if that's the case.
Yeah, it looked like, and this is where the dilemma, if you're laying off people, and you have a massive boot, right? Like, how does that look to your internal people?
Yeah.
And
well, I know WorkHuman had a layoff a couple months ago, and they're here. They're spending money on parties, things like that. So that's interesting.
I know that's a tough spot and a tough perspective for people to understand, but from a business side of it, it is always a hard decision. But if you're not actively doing things to grow your company, being here, having a booth, having a presence, doing marketing, investing in sales brings revenue, and revenue is needed to create payroll. So those are often hard things for people to understand and make that connection, but it's about survival, and it's about making sure you keep the whole ship afloat, and you got to still invest in the growth, and it is a hard perception to manage through when you're doing something like that.
Spoken like a marketer.
Great point, Julie.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what do you guys think? Should we wrap this up and call it a day?
Let's wrap it up.
All right, guys.
Chris, thanks for having us on the show.
Yeah, thanks for listening, everybody, and great to see you guys in person again. It's always fun. We got to do this more often.
You're better looking in person.
That's it for now for this podcast. Stay tuned to the channel for more Unleash interviews coming soon.